Alright, welcome back. Right now, I'm in my project's root level directory, where my manage.py lives, and you can see I'm working on my virtual environment. And if I just do a quick pip freeze, the only thing I should have installed on my virtual environment is Django 1.10.2. Alright, so I'm going to run the server so that we can just kind of catch up where we left off. Localhost. There it is right there. It's localhost :8000 home cache tracker app works good. Real fast, I want to show you this. I'm using Google Chrome, but most browsers have something like this. Most of them call it like a developer's page or a console. This Google Chrome calls it inspect. So I can go on here, and there's a few tabs up here at the top. The elements tab will kind of highlight whatever element that you are looking at over here. So I can expand everything here from my source code for my HTML page. And if I scroll down, like the nav section, all this nav section is highlighted up there. ULs can go down here, and here's my entire articles, or here's my entire section. Here's the H1 tag. And you look down here, it'll show you what the different colors mean. Green's padding, like a yellowish is border, orangish is margin. And you can go down here and you can look at each individual article. You can look at each individual sub HTML tag inside those. Makes it a little easier to debug your pages and see if things aren't looking the way that you think they are or why they aren't. On my sources tab, so I can refresh this page, and it loads everything that that the page loads. Of interest here is I have access to a style.css I loaded, and I can actually make changes. Like, look over here, I can actually make changes to my page strictly from this style.css in the developer's platform. Now, this isn't going to actually save to our style.css we have on the server, but it's a good way that we can just kind of test what's going to look good, what's not going to look good before we commit it to code. Think of it as kind of like an interactive HTML and CSS developing platform. And right here in the networks tab, it'll show me what I loaded. Like, here's the home page, home.html. We also loaded a style.css. The status right here is pretty important. A 200 is an HTTP response status that says it's okay, so it was a good request. 304 says not modified, so from the last time I loaded this page, whatever we have stored for style.css, the new one hasn't been modified at all. If you get a 404 error here, 404 is page not found, and that's going to be when you know that, hey, there's something wrong with my paths, maybe in the base.html, maybe in my template structure, something like that, maybe in the naming structure, maybe I'm not naming this file correctly. But if you get a 404 error here, that means it's never loading your CSS or any other type of CSS, JavaScript files, whatever you're trying to load. So look for 404s here. And you can also see them in the server. Like, this is a server log. So right here, get home, so that's a home page. Here's my 200, which is HTTP response request. Here is my CSS, and you can see here's the exact directory it's in: static CSS, style.css. There's my 304, my not modified header. Alright, so enough of that. Play around with it as you would like. Hopefully it makes your life a little bit easier. So right now I want to create our first model. So I'm going to CD in the cache tracker, and I'm going to open up Notepad++. Again, open this up in whatever your favorite text editor is. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little code here. So from Django.db import models. Models is the class that we're going to extend for all of our apps models. And we need from Django.utils import time zone. Alright, now we're going to create our models here. And really, all a model is it's a class, first of all. So we're going to call our class receipt. We're going to subclass the models.model. And so this is saying go into models, which we imported right here, and get me the models class. Don't really get wrapped around in the weeds of what this is right now. Alright, class receipt, and then we're going to give it a few fields here. Merchandise is going to equal models.char field and a max length of 30. We're going to give it a purchase price, or purchase date, and just kind of code along with me right now, and I will explain this once I'm done. Date field default equals time zone dot now. Price is going to equal to models dot char field max length equals 15, and we're going to give it a class function, and these are 2 underscores right here, so 1 underscore 2 underscores. Self, and we're going to return self.merchandise plus a little comma there in quotation marks plus self.price. I'm going to save that, Control S. So really a model, all it is a database table. So if you're used to any type of MySQL, Postgres, any type of relational database systems, you should be familiar with the concept of a table. A table has columns, and so right now we have a table that we're going to call receipt, and in that database table we have a column called merchandise. It's set to be a char field, so I believe the SQL syntax for that is varchar. Oh, I misspelled this. So purchase date is a date time field, so that's another column in the receipt table that is going to map to a date, a type of a date. And price is our column that's going to be another char field. And we're going to have a max length of 15. So max length of 15 characters, and this one up here has a max length of 30 characters. Alright, the models.model we kind of went over. I don't want you to really get wrapped around this. And the models.char field, again, don't really get wrapped around that. Just know that you need to have this type of syntax. You need to have the models with your dot, and then whatever field type you have. If you're looking for more information on the field type, I'll post these links at the bottom of the video. But here is your documentation on models. HTTPS docs.djangoproject.com /en/1.10/topics/db/models, and it'll talk about what exactly a model is and give you a little bit more information on it. Your field types are, let me see if I can find it. Alright, so first name and last name, they're talking about this class up here, this model class, are fields of the model. Each field is specified as a class attribute, and each attribute maps to a database column. That's kind of what I just said. If you want more information on the fields, let's see if I could find the link. I thought you just clicked there and it came up. Let's go fields. Click on here. No. Oh, whatever. I have the link over here saved. So you go up here, docs, Django project, EN 1.10 ref models, fields, a pound symbol, hashtag, whatever you want to call it, django.db.models.field. Hit enter, and you can scroll up to the top, and it's going to show you all these different fields. Here's our char field we used. Here's our date time field, or do we use a date field? Yeah, we use date time. So here's our date time field. Here's our char field. You can look at that. Notice it requires the max length attribute, so we had to pass that in. And this video's run a little long, so I'm going to call it quits for this video right now. In the next video, I'm going to actually migrate this, show you what that does, and then we'll open up the Django, the Python Django interactive shell and kind of mess around in that.